Why does the battery life on my iPhone 5S suck on iOS 10? I got 20 tips and tricks to help you save battery life on your iPhone 5S or iOS 10 device. Let's go. Alright guys, so welcome to this how to save battery life on iPhone 5S, iOS 10, or iPhone 5S tips and tricks, iOS 10 battery saving tips and tricks. So let's go into setting here and we go into general and show you that we are rocking out with iOS 10.1.114B100 here for our iPhone 5S. This is an iPhone 5S because you don't see the logo there, but we do have that dual tone LED flash right there. So let's get into it. So the first one on this list is going to be, I want you guys to go into settings, go over until you find your battery and go in here. And where you see this below here, this is going to show you what is eating your battery life. So I want you to go on the 7 days and check through all of these applications for the first tip and see what is eating your battery life. If you notice something that is really out of place here on your iPhone 5S, go ahead and try to find an application alternative to that application. For example, if you have Flickster and you notice that Flickster is wasting most of your battery life, you might want to go ahead and try Apple Trailers app, for example, for movies. So that's an example there. So go and check through all the applications to see which ones are eating your data. Let's get on to tip number 2. All right, guys, for the second tip on the list, head over into settings, go into privacy. So we're going to scroll down until we see privacy right here, privacy. Let's go into location services, and you can go ahead and toggle off location services to save battery life. If you want to save a bit more under location services, go through each one of these applications and turn them on to only while using the application for your location services. Also, for an extra tip right here while we're in location, go to system services and turn off these product improvement toggles right here, diagnosis usage, popular near me, routing and traffic. So that's number 2. Let's get on to number 3 on how to save battery on 5S. Okay, so this third tip is a little bit different. This is not actually a feature within iOS 10, but you know, sometimes you just need to hard reboot your device is why it's draining so much battery life. So go ahead and hit the power button, hit the home button at the same time, hold these guys down completely together until you see the white Apple screen. Once you see the white Apple screen right here, you are now going to enter into a hard reset where the device will boot up to the home screen, and that might have fixed your battery drain as it just needed to, you know, have a hard reset of the device itself. So you can go ahead and try that and see if that works for you. Let's get on to number 4 of this battery saving tips. Okay, so this next tip is a little bit extreme, but if you're having serious battery drain issues on your iPhone 5S, go into general under settings. So we're gonna find general, scroll all the way down and go to reset. So when we get into reset, what we're gonna wanna do is a factory reset. Now, I do warn you, if you're gonna do a factory reset, this is gonna reset your phone to factory settings as implied. So go ahead and make sure you do an iCloud backup and back up all your files before you do this. But to do this, you're gonna go ahead and hit erase all content and settings right there. I'm not gonna do it for the purpose of this video, but try a factory reset if you're having severe battery drain issues on iOS 10 with your iPhone 5S and see if that fixes it. Let's get on to number 5. All right, guys, so tip number 5 is to utilize the included low battery power mode within the iPhone 5S. So scroll down until you find battery right here and go into low power mode and toggle this on. So basically what this is going to do is automatically do some battery saving tricks for you for your iPhone. Now, I know a lot of people know this mode already, but if you're watching this video, I'm laying out pretty much everything that we can do to save battery life on iOS 10. And a lot of people don't utilize this low power mode, but you might want to start utilizing it as it's a very easy and simple way to save battery life on your iPhone 5S, iOS 10. So let's get into the next one. So tip number 5 is to simply start utilizing night shift mode. Night shift mode has been reported to save a slight bit of battery life. So just start using night shift mode as much as possible. Now, if you go into settings and you go into display on your iPhone 5S, you can actually make this night shift mode a little bit dimmer than, you know, if it's too warm for the daytime, you can go ahead and dim it down, but it's still enabled and it is going to save you just a little bit of battery life on the night shift. But for night, you can make it really warm here under display settings. So go ahead and utilize that night shift mode to save a bit of battery life. Let's get on to number 7. So the 7th tip on the list is to go into settings, locate general, go into background app refresh and make sure this toggle is toggled off. So basically if that toggle is on, you're basically having all your applications automatically refreshing all day long, in effect using data, in effect wasting battery life on your iPhone device throughout your day. So you might want to start utilizing background app refresh in your future use cases for iOS 10. So let's get on to tip number 8. So for tip number 8, go into general once again, scroll down to reset. And I want you guys to go ahead ahead and tap reset all settings. If you didn't do a factory reset, you can try to reset all settings and see if that helps you out to save some battery life. Now this will reset all of your location and all those other tips that I showed you, but you can try that if you would like to see if that saves you some battery life. Let's get on to tip number 9. So tip number 9 also exists within general. So go into general, go into accessibility, scroll down until you find reduce motion, and go ahead and toggle on reduce motion. So basically what this is going to do is take away that parallax effect on your home screen and just going to make it a little bit quicker, as well as reduce animations, but you will not have iMessage effects. So if you decide to use iMessage all the time, you might not want to do this tip, but it will save some battery life. Let's get on to number 10 on this list. So tip number 10 doesn't apply to the iPhone itself, but I just wanted to make you guys aware and inform you that the iPhone 5S, when you go ahead and do a fresh update, what I want you to do each and every time from now on when you do a fresh update is go ahead and plug it in and charge it fully from 0 to 100 overnight. This is going to allow iOS to get calibrated and things like that. So basically just do that in future updates. When you update to iOS, whatever it's going to be, charge it fully from 0 to 100 on your iPhone 5S. So for tip number 11, you might not be aware of this, but the applications in the App Store, if you're not keeping them all updated, you are taking a hit on battery life. So go ahead and go into the App Store and make sure that all of your applications are up to date. I know a lot of people turn off notifications or automatic updates, which is another battery saving tip we'll talk about later, but make sure that all your applications are up to date on your iPhone. This will drain battery life if they are not up to date. So that's tip number 11. Let's get on to 12. All right, guys, for tip number 12, this tip exists within the lock screen of iOS 10. So we do have these nice ability to put widgets here on our iPhone 5S, but I want you guys to go ahead and edit these out and make sure this is as minimal as possible. So we don't want a lot of them. We want maybe 2 or 3 at the max. These widgets do drain battery life because they're another thing that's updating constantly in the background of your iPhone. So go ahead and keep these to a minimum on the lock screen widgets for your iPhone 5S. Let's get on to tip number 13. So tip number 13, once again, is not a software feature, but rather a hardware feature. So we do have ambient light sensors on the iPhone. What that allows the iPhone to do is to, wake up when you get notifications and things like that. No race to wake on iPhone 5S, but for this tip, go ahead and as often as possible, keep your iPhone laying face down on the table. This allows the screen to not light up when you get notifications, which in effect helps you to save battery life because the screen is the biggest battery life killer. So that's tip number 13 on your iPhone 5S. Let's get on to tip number 14. So if all those 13 tips so far did not work, I want you guys to calibrate your iPhone battery. What does that mean? Basically, this means go ahead and charge your iPhone all the way up to 100, and I want you guys to kill it all the way to 0, and then charge it from 0 all the way to 100 and let it trickle charge, which means let it charge 10 minutes after you hit 100, and then go ahead and pull it off charge and see if your battery life has improved after you calibrated it on the latest iOS 10 version that you may be running. Let's get on to number 15. So tip number 14 is to stop quitting your applications. Stop doing this. I know we have OCD and we want to swipe all these things out all the time. And it just seems logical that closing applications that are running in the background will save you battery life on your iPhone 5S. But do not do this. Do this maybe once a day at night when you're done using your iPhone for the day. It will save you a ton of battery life because what you're doing effectively is you're pulling the application out of RAM. And when you open the application once again, you're putting it back into memory, which is draining the battery life. So stop quitting your application so frequently and you will save battery life on iOS 10. Let's get on to tip number 16. So for tip number 16, go into settings and disable the auto lock time. So go into display and brightness and not disable it, but lower your auto lock time, limit it to 1 minute or 30 seconds. You'd be surprised how many people leave this on and their iPhone is just running all day and draining the battery life, and they think it's iOS that's draining it, but it actually is just that you left your auto lock time on 3 minutes and you forgot to limit it. So your iPhone's been draining batteries. So go ahead and make sure this is down to 1 minute or 30 seconds to save you some juice. Let's get on to tip number 17. Now, tip number 17 is one that a lot of you may not want to do at all, but go into settings and go into, let's go up here into cellular. And I want you guys to go ahead and go into cellular data options and limit LTE. So turn off LTE and start using the 3G option on your iPhone. This will save you a ton of battery life because LTE does require more juice to run that high-speed internet. Now, this is one I know a lot of you will not want to use, but if you want to save battery life, I'm giving you all the tips that I know to do just that on iOS 10. Let's get into tip number 18. So tip number 18 involves the Apple Music application and volume. So go down until you find Apple Music section in your settings right here. You can see Apple Music. Go in there, and I want you guys to go down here. What did I do? Go down here just a little bit and make sure that this volume limit is not at the max volume. Kind of turn this down a little bit. This will save you some, battery life on the, external speakers of the iPhone. If you want to save some more battery life, start utilizing that 3.5 millimeter headset jack and use a pair of headphones, because this external speaker wastes way more battery life than a pair of headphones if you did not know that. So go ahead and turn the max volume limit down and use external headphones for your device. Let's get on to tip number 19. Okay guys, this is pretty much the universal tip of all time if you Google how to save battery life on an iPhone, but go into settings and locate the mail section on your device and go into mail and go down into accounts right here. Find your account section right there. Let me lower the brightness here so you can see what I'm doing here on this iPhone really quickly here. And you can see fetch new data right there. Go into fetch new data and turn off push email. That thing right there is draining a lot of battery life. So go ahead and turn off all push email on your device right there. So let's get on to tip number 20 and the final tip. All right guys, for the final tip, I want you to go ahead and locate that iTunes and App Store icon right there. And then I want you guys to go ahead and disable the updates. So these are automatic updates happening in the background, as well as automatic downloads on music and apps if you want to save some battery. So that's tip number 20, the final tip on how to save battery life on iOS 10.1.1 or iOS 10 on your iPhone. So there's a couple other solutions that are outside of these tips that I showed you here, and that is to get an external battery or a mophie juice pack or juice pack extended battery for your iPhone 5S if you're having battery issues. Those are the best external solutions in my opinion. Also, you can go ahead and download older versions of iOS like iOS 9.3.5 to save battery life on your iPhone. To do that, just go ahead and Google how to downgrade to iOS 9.3.5. There should be plenty of websites with instructions. Also, you can consider jailbreaking your iPhone 5S if battery life is really pissing you off on your phone. But anyways, if you guys follow most of these tips, I can promise you that you will in fact get much better battery life on your iPhone 5S. And that's pretty much going to wrap up this how to save battery life on iPhone 5S, iOS 10, battery saving tips for your iPhone 5S. If you guys enjoyed it, please go ahead and click the like button for me. Subscribe to the channel for more technology videos like this. Please share your tips and experiences on how do you save battery life on your iPhone to help out the community. And subscribe for more technology videos like this. I will catch you all in the next one. Be sure to be well, have a great day, and peace.